Hey, what's up? Let's see what happens this week. I'm the Zen. This is the Zen video. This is part 53 of my rideshare experience videos. I've been doing it since, what, February 2017. And I'm an artist and musician, currently living in San Diego, and I use Lyft as my primary source of income. That's my handcrafted Lyft symbol right there. Anyways, what I do is I go shout outs, how much I made, talk about star rating stuff, and then do the main topic, which this week is, it says in the title, in navigation, but it's kind of a housekeeping one as well, or a little bit. I went to a Lyft driver party I'm going to talk about for a minute, like the appreciation party, but anyways. And then in the side column there's 3 boxes that say how much I made, star rating, and main topic. And if you want to get to one of those parts quicker, just scroll the timeline or go to the description of this video, and in the description part, and there'll be timestamps, so you can click and go straight to it. So the shout outs, I only got one shout out, and the shout outs are just people, new YouTubers that have engaged to this show, the Rideshare show on this channel, newly. Of course, thank everybody that has in the past. I've already given many shout outs, but I only got one. I guess it's I am Cha-Cha CHNNL, I don't know, channel, but without an A. I am Cha-Cha CHNNL. Thank you for engaging with the channel. Thank you everybody else that has. Comments are my oxygen, so comment on these shows. I love to hear your thoughts. I want to hear more of your thoughts. I don't want to just talk. I want you to engage with me. Let's have a conversation back and forth. Because maybe there'll be somebody else. Maybe I'll bring up an idea that you're like, you suck. And then you can get your 2 cents. And then maybe another person will be like, oh, it's good to get multiple perspectives when I read the comments of what's going on. Sometimes you can on some of these videos. Some of these videos don't get many comments at all. So, whatever. That's that. Let's get into, I think that's good. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, of course, and little intro swappy doppy. And then also I started a Patreon account, so if you're digging on anything I do, not only these rideshare videos, but my podcast, my art I make, my music I make, anything you want to help me support that going forward, help me build this channel up more, become a Patreon patron to my Patreon. Link will be in the description, so thanks a lot for that. Anyways, let's get on how much I made. This is how much I made this week. Just roughly, my deposit in my account was roughly $804. Once again, I'm an express driver, so every Monday night they do all their calculations on Lyft, and then I won't know until Monday night how much I'm actually getting deposited. But you'll see it. You'll see it. I don't know yet. But it's just roughly $25 less than what I've made up till now. So I haven't. Man, the math is weird. Anyways, because of the Express Drive program, you get a bonus of $200, but the Express Drive car costs roughly $225. So do the math there. So they still take $25 out of my pay. Blah 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 blah. I just want to make sure if you're new to this video, you know what I'm talking about. You're like, what do you mean they're taking money? That's why they take money. Express Drive is the rental program that Lyft has. I rent my car through Lyft. Just got a new one today, Impala. I guess I can qualify for Flex Fuel, which is a little cheaper because it takes Flex Fuel. Anyways, we'll see if that makes any difference on my pocketbook. $804-ish deposited, $810-ish in my heads-up display because I got $6 in cash tips throughout the week. Again, with tips this week, I did 116 rides total, and I made $110 in tips. Pretty close to my goal, my hope. Can't really be a goal since I have no power over it. But my hope is always that I make at least $1 in tips per ride. So the average, most rides don't tip, but some rides tip better than $1. So that's why I get close to that amount pretty often, but not always. And sometimes I get more, sometimes I get less. Tipping makes the difference. Can't stress it enough. If you're watching this because you're curious about Lyft and rideshare driving and all that stuff, and you just want to know more, and you decide to actually use the service, tip at least $1 per ride, because it makes all the difference. We don't make tons of money, especially in San Diego. It's not that great of a... So I heard a story. I'm going to story time real quick. I had a passenger in my car who was telling me about another driver she drove with, saying that he was from, like, I don't know, any major city, and Uber recruited him to move to San Diego because he was a good driver in his area already. Like, I guess this is the story I heard. And when he moved to San Diego, it turned out he made much less than he used to make in his old city. I don't know what city it was from. And it just validated what I've been saying about San Diego. San Diego is not the best rideshare market. It's an okay market. You gotta really hustle to make some money in San Diego. Anyways, that was story time with the Zim. Back to our regular scheduled program. Let's get on to the daily breakdown. This is how much I made each day. I broke 200 on St. Patty's Day. St. Patty's Day was the best day I've ever had in terms of ride requests. It was pretty much non-stop queue rides. And what I mean by queue rides is when you're a driver, you can get a ride placed in your queue before you drop off the person in your car. Before you drop them off, you could have a ride request waiting for you. And it was basically all day non-stop queue rides, and it made it go really fast. I did 29 rides total for the day. I think I worked like 8.5 hours, made $200, and it was just like, that's the way I thought this job was going. That was the mental vision I had in my job when I started back in February 2017. I thought, oh, I'll just turn on the app and rides will just like fall on my head. But no, that's not the case at all. But the last few weeks have been better. St. Patty's Day was amazing. I got all my rides done. I did comfortable. I got done by like 9 o'clock, and I didn't have to deal with any of the drunk people. Made a decent amount of money in a great amount of time. Very sustainable for me. So it kept me in my normal rhythm. Didn't have to like go, I'm going to drive late because it's St. Patty's Day. No. Did my normal routine, and it was awesome. So that was great. In total, like this, so let's do the hourly breakdown. This is where my hours were. This is like where I drove each day, and then the blue blocks represent the hours of where I drove. And total, it was just shy of 39 hours to make the money I made, which is, I didn't do the math on it, but pretty good considering breaking 800 is always my goal. And it's historically, go back to all these videos, historically taken me more than 45 to 50 hours, 52, 60, sometimes hours to make the amount of money I made this week. And I was able to do it in 39 hours, which is awesome, super sustainable, makes it so I can actually feel good and go do it again next week instead of just grinding my face off trying to make money. So this was a great, very sustainable week. I wish it was like this all the time. Hopefully it's trending this way. I don't know. If you heard me in the past, I noticed when I started last year, was about this time, February, obviously, we're in March now, getting in the middle of March. I noticed it was good. It was good. I was like, oh, this will be a fairly sustainable job. When spring break in San Diego, when the colleges in San Diego went on spring break, then it was a noticeable shift. Spring break week sucked here, and then it just wasn't ever as good as prior to spring break. So I'm curious to see if that same trend will happen again this year, or if it's just better because there's more passengers needing the service. I don't know. Currently, right now, the referral amount that Lyft is giving for new drivers in San Diego is $525, which is pretty good. Curious to see if it goes up more. If Lyft thinks there's more demand needed, there's more drivers needed in San Diego, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So that's basically that. Let's get into, if you have any questions regarding how much I made, how I did it, any of those questions, feel free to ask me, comment it up, and I'll happily talk to you about what I did to make what I did and what I think works and whatnot. Star rating again. So this will be a short section because I don't really know much about star ratings anymore. They're not giving the daily emails they used to give, so we don't get to see our second decimal point. We're just kind of basically only ever see the 1 decimal point over 4.9, 5.0, 4.8. We don't get to see that 4.95 or second decimal point that we got to for a while, except for, it'll be on the screen now, on the Friday email when you get the bulk reviews that you just saw. Didn't get anything special this week, but in the Friday email that's where you get to see your second decimal point. And at the time last Friday I had a 4.98, which is pretty darn good. I'm really excited about that. I'm currently rocking the 5.0 app rating, which you can see in my heads-up display. So that's about it. That's all I got to say about my star rating. So let's move on. If we learn more about star ratings, if you know anything more about how to see your ratings in more detail, feel free to let me know, because I currently don't know any other way other than the app and this email that just scrolled by, which I would love to see my second decimal point, especially as a full-time driver. I drive over 100 rides a week, so and it only counts the last 100 rides, so you can see the movement of your rating if you drive that much. Like in Uber, it's every 500 rides, so your rating tends to stay the same, but with it only being 100 rides and being a full-time driver, your rating can fluctuate pretty dramatically week to week. But anyways, it's just nice to know where it's going on. I like it anyway. Alright, so that's that. Alright, so in-app navigation. Not much to say about it really. They launched, it's kind of more of just like documenting the experience more than anything else. But about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, they launched in-app navigation for, well, I have an Apple phone, I have an iPhone. I heard somewhere that Android phones were getting the in-app navigation a few months ago or so, but I finally got it. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, hit up the comments, let me know if you've been using in-app navigation for a while. So basically, let's set up how it used to work, for depending on when you're watching this. It used to be, you have your app, it would have a little map on it, and it would notify you when you get a ride, but once you hit the navigation, like you wanted to actually navigate to the place, you would have to pick between Waze or Google, I believe. I don't know if it had an Apple Maps function, but Waze or Google were the ones that I'm used to knowing. And then I picked Google Maps because that's what I was used to. So, and then it would flip to the app, the Google Maps app. And so both apps essentially were running at the same time, telling you how to get to the place you needed to get to. They changed it now though. Google is now the in-app navigation for Lyft. So it looks just like your Google Maps in the app. It just has the same look and feel as Google Maps. It seems to me like it's a light version of it because it moves a lot faster than the regular Google Maps. And maybe they've trimmed down and only put in what they needed for this, which is pretty awesome if that is the case, because it's working a lot faster, I've noticed. And I really like it. I prefer it now this way with the in-app navigation than the other way. There's a couple things I liked about the other way, which I'll talk about in a second, but what I like most about how it works now is the quickness of it. It's quickly, you get the ride request and then you quickly are in navigation to get to it, especially in line rides. When I was on the freeways and stuff in different places and I would get a line ride request, I wouldn't know if I needed the next exit or not, and it would take a while for the app navigations and all that stuff to kind of catch up to itself, where now with the in-app navigation, it's like almost instantaneous. I get a line ride and I know exactly where I need to go right away. It updates right away, which is awesome. And another thing that's nice about it is sometimes before you would get a cancellation, if you were on your navigation screen, you wouldn't know, like it wasn't always 100% accurate to cancel, to inform you that you got a cancellation. And so you'd be driving on the navigation and you get there and like, oh, the rides, you go back to the Lyft app and your request isn't even there anymore. Like, what happened? But now, since it's all integrated, if they cancel, it'll stop the navigation, so you know right away, which is pretty awesome. Those are the two main thumbs up things about it. The speed of it, the line thing. You know, well, I guess it's really one thing, but it's kind of wrapped together. So I really like the in-app navigation. Do you like it? It's a couple of things I've noticed that's different. The voice is slightly more nasally than the original Google voice, which is kind of interesting to me. I don't know why. That seems interesting. I don't know if it should be the same voice and it got pitched differently, or if it's an actual different voice. I don't know. Do you know? Couple of things that I would like to see added to it, if possible. I know there's not a lot of space on the screen. My phone's over there, so I'm not going to grab it. There's not a lot of space on the screen for it, but I would love it if the name of the passenger stayed on the screen while you were in navigation, and also the destination address was on the screen while you were in navigation. Before, it was nice because while you were running both programs, the navigation app and Lyft app, I could toggle between them and leave the navigation going, and it could talk to me about which turns to take, and go to the Lyft app and go see the name of the person and see the final destination and kind of get a sense of where I needed to be more specifically, because I found that pin on on the Lyft app is super accurate. So now when I'm using the in-app navigation, I cancel it when I'm a few blocks away, and then just go by the line that Lyft gives me on their app, because I found it's super accurate, so I can just go straight to that pin. Whereas when it's on the navigation screen, there's a little bit of ambiguity about where you need to be. But anyways, it's pretty close. It's pretty good, but there's a little bit. So, but when I flip to the Lyft map, not navigation, just map with line, then I can it's super accurate. So I like that. So anyways, that's my story about my thoughts around the integrated app, the integrated navigation. If you have any questions for me or thoughts of your own about it, if you like it, don't like it, whatever, curious why they chose, I don't know, just talk to me about it. Do whatever you want in that regard. Let's talk a little bit about, see how much time I have. I have like 4 minutes. Talk a little bit about the driver appreciation. I feel like I'm really close to the top of the screen. Sorry if I'm out of, I shouldn't be where I should be. I probably should be like right there. But anyways, I'm trying to like slouch down. So like a week and a half ago again, I went to the driver appreciation lunch, and they had I'll put up some slides right there, some pictures. We'll scroll by as I'm talking. I just took some quick pictures, nothing special really. And they just had this park in San Diego had an RSVP, as you probably know. You RSVP for it because they have a limited space. They had 2 food trucks, and I got a hamburger. It was pretty tasty. I don't know what brand it was, but maybe you can tell by the pictures in the truck. But nothing. It wasn't overly amazing. They honored women drivers specifically because it was Women's Appreciation Day as well. I guess they did it on the same day, so they gave some honors to 2 drivers in particular. I wasn't paying that close attention to what was going on, but it was just kind of like a place to see other drivers. It was similar to a few months ago, the Christmas party. Had a similar vibe. I think they did a better job with the food this time. They could have, they could have had one more truck. It was pretty long lines. It was a pretty long wait to get your food, but it wasn't too bad. Because what else are you doing? You're there for the food and you're just hanging out. They gave away stuff. They gave away the glasses again. I don't know. You probably can't see it, but this is the glass I got at the other party. And then I got a bag this time because they were out of the glasses. So I just grabbed the bag and also a whistle. I don't know where the whistle went. Oh, I think I put it in the glass. But that's that. The one thing I did notice the most about it was I did talk to some other drivers, and it's pretty clear that a topic that still comes up a lot is the algorithm, the Lyft algorithm, how they choose drivers and how they choose who gets what drivers, and do they prefer new drivers versus old drivers. And I already heard me about a long time ago. I talked about giving preference to new drivers, and I think that would be ridiculous if they did that, because why would you give preference to new drivers and then make a higher turn? Like, you're doing good and then you start doing sucky. It doesn't make sense to me, so I don't think that's true. Another person brought up this idea of they think that Lyft gives preference to higher rated drivers, which could make sense, but I still at the same time Lyft says it's just the closest person to their drive, and they already have their criteria. You have to keep your app rating above a certain level, or else you'll get kicked off. So it doesn't make sense. That totally makes sense to me if they're giving preference to new drivers. You've heard me say in the past as well, I used to get a lot, and I still do get a lot of first-time passengers, and I wonder if Lyft has something in their algorithm that says if it's a first-time passenger, let's try to find a higher-rated driver to send them to, or a driver that gets good rating or whatever, because or reviews I should say, because they want that first experience to be the best possible. Who knows? Maybe because I've been sent pretty far, and I'm like, why am I going so far to pick up this person? And it turns out that it's their first time driving. I'm like, maybe it's because Lyft thinks I do a pretty good job of driving, and they want to align that. I don't know, but So anyways, the bottom what I'm trying to say is there's a pretty big not conspiracy theory, but just questions around how Lyft actually works. We as drivers don't know. We don't really know how Lyft actually runs their business. We just kind of speculate on things. One thing that did come up that's interesting to me is I did talk to a few people about the airport here in San Diego, and recently, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but it's because it's been a while, they got rid of, well, not got rid of totally, they got rid of the restriction to having to be in the airport queue to get rides out of the San Diego airport. Because now you can just drop people off, and then you can get a ride request and pick up somebody at the airport, which is awesome for me because I've never waited in the queue. I hate waiting. You've heard me say it before. I don't like waiting places. I keep moving around and doing stuff. So it's pretty rad, but there's a confusion around what that means. Like somebody said you're supposed to deny the ride, and that doesn't make any sense. It's like because you're picking up at the airport and not, it sounds like, you know, it's too good. Like there's not enough demand in San Diego to deny a ride for reasons that are, if they're going to give you a ride, you know what I mean? So that doesn't make any sense to me, but that's not true anyway. So anyways, and it's just curious to me, I've never seen Lyft make any announcements regarding the change of protocol at the airport in terms of the waiting in the queue lot versus just going to get a ride because you dropped somebody off at the airport. That's it. That's all I have to say this week on my video about rideshare driving. If you have any questions regarding the appreciation lunch, maybe something I didn't mention you'd like to know about, or the in-app navigation, or my ratings, or how much I made, feel free to hit me up. Happy to tell you all about it. And if you want to become a driver, like I said earlier, it's $525 in San Diego. So if you live in San Diego and you're looking to become a driver, use my referral code ZIM200 and you get a bonus of $525 if you start giving rides. It's probably something like every 25 rides you get $25 or something to that effect. I do have 2 referral drivers on my account. One of them gave some rides but seems to have mellowed out, and one of them hasn't even fully completed their process yet, so we'll see if that comes of anything, which 90% of the people that use my referral code don't ever even start driving. So whatever. Also, I do a more daily kind of like updates on my rideshare driving on my Instagram account, @RideshareZim. So check that out. If you follow it along, if you want to see more of a daily thing, trying to find more ways to be creative with that, because right now it's just screenshots of how much I made mostly, things like that. And also at the beginning you saw the letter Lyft, like that. I'll put it on the screen again. Also, I'm going to put up another slide of, I make handmade greeting cards. They're right there. I have them in my hand right now. So if you want to check these out, it's lettersbyzim.etsy.com. The link will be down below, of course. And right now I have get well soon, I have congratulations, and I also have thank you and happy birthday, and I'm planning to do more. They're $15, all handmade, all made to order, so don't expect them overnight. If you order one, it'll take a day or two to make it, and then a day or two to get it to you. So plan ahead if you want a handmade by me greeting card for you and your friends. Alright, so that's it. That's all I got to say this week. Peace, be good to each other, and may your rides be long, your tits be big.